Look what a big parcel arrived to us today. It contains some kind of a projectile wrapped in soft packaging. Let's open them up and see what's inside. Okay, take the contents out of the paper bag, and it turns out it's the real fruit of the cacao tree. That's right, the one used to make real chocolate. I've been surfing the internet for almost a year, hoping to find a seller who would send me these fruits. And now we're going to show you the full process of chocolate production from this huge fruit, just the way they make chocolate in the factories. We need to get inside and extract all the filling. Some people on the internet simply break them open with a sharp, powerful hit. Apparently, we are not strong enough, so it's better to use a sharp knife. Wow, look at that beautiful white caterpillar. Unfortunately, our cacao beans weren't fully ripe and were still too hard. We couldn't figure out anything better than to put the cover back on, wrap it with a blue duct tape and put the cacao fruit on the windowsill, where it would ripen while basking in the sun. 1 week later, we opened the fruit. At a first glance, nothing has changed, but touching the pulp, we can see that it has become quite soft and secretes a thick, sticky slime. Looks like that's exactly what we need, so we extract the white caterpillar and separate it into 3 separate cacao beans. Actually, we can't see the beans yet, because they are covered with a white coating, which apparently protects it from pests. The coating itself is very tasty, slightly sour, resembling a citrus fruit, and has nothing to do with the chocolate flavor. But if we incise and remove the white cover, we find a bare cacao seed that looks like a slippery alien egg. It consists of a brown pulp and some pink worms, which will acquire chocolate flavor quite soon. We need to stir the cacao beans with bare hands, so that the yeast spores found everywhere can get on the nutritious coating and start the fermentation process. After that, put everything into a wide bowl. Press it with our hands and leave it overnight. The next day, we find the pulp covered in a thin fuzz resembling mold. It's time to mix everything thoroughly once again. This will stimulate even more active fermentation, in the process of which the cacao beans will acquire elements that provide it with its distinct and desired odor. In another 3 days, beans turned dark and produced a strong smell of alcohol. I stirred them every few hours and became slightly drunk on the aroma. And by the end of the 10th day, they look like this. The content of moisture has decreased, and the seeds have become completely fermented, so we can start roasting the chocolate. We pour them out on a baking tray, spread them evenly, and put it in the oven for 2 hours at a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius. During this time, the moisture evaporates, the seeds decrease in size and become more solid. Don't forget to put a parchment paper or a grid under them, otherwise they will stick to the metal. Now we have to remove all the shells to get the insides, which look like someone's brain. They break down into smaller pieces quite easily. We have to peel them all by hand. This process was rather difficult and took us about an hour. Eventually, we got quite a large amount of cacao bean pulp, which is prepared to turn into chocolate. All that's left is to roast them one last time at a higher temperature. While they're roasting, let's put Stefan on the scale to see how much he weighs. Wow, 33 grams. What a chubby guy you are. At this point, we need to find out how many cacao beans we have. 202 grams. Excellent. It's time to grind them as finely as possible. For this, we'll use this stone bowl and a thick stick made of the same stone. We pour the seeds inside and start crushing them in hopes of getting a chocolate paste. At first, they ground and crumbled pretty well. Then I decided to grind the cacao beans instead of crushing them. This actually worked slightly better, and within 15 minutes I had something like this. Okay, we definitely need to use some kind of appliance. Load in the cacao beans and start crushing them. Looks like it's working. It's much easier than grinding by hand. I added a little sugar and devised a way to grind the cacao without human involvement. The blender was getting too hot by this point, and I was worried it would burn out, but that's when the real magic happened. In just a few seconds, the cacao beans started to turn from a solid state into a liquid. Unbelievable! We produced a coarse chocolate paste. Grind it for another 5 minutes and pour it into a large bowl to load another batch. Professionals use a special machine for this purpose, which grinds chocolate for hours until it reaches a creamy consistency. Since I don't have one of these devices, we find a way out of the situation the best we can. We added 15 grams of sugar per 100 grams of cacao. To make the sugar dissolve faster, the mixture needs to be heated. I ordered this portable gas stove from AliExpress recently, and now we'll see what the Chinese have invented. It is powered by a small gas cylinder, which we put inside, fix properly and open the gas supply. It is risky to heat the container with chocolate directly, so we put a bowl with water under it, which will evaporate and heat the container with chocolate with steam. Afterward, we decided to add a little cacao butter to the mixture, which is sold in the form of these hard white stones. However, we could probably do it without it, because the cacao beans have already released a decent amount of oil into our mixture during grinding. Melt it in hot water and pour it into our future chocolate, mixing thoroughly. This flexible silicone mold was bought to form the chocolate bars. For this purpose, we slowly and carefully pour our hot chocolate into it. Just in case, the mold should be hit a few times against the table to get rid of all the air bubbles. We will make milk chocolate from the remaining mixture. To do this, just add a small amount of powdered milk to it and mix thoroughly. This mixture will be poured not only into a mold for chocolate bars, but also into molds for making various chocolate candies. In addition, we have a set of these cute little emojis. While the dark chocolate is solidifying, we'll additionally show you how white chocolate is made. Take 150 grams of cacao butter and melt it into a liquid state. Mix 2 spoons of powdered sugar and 1 spoon of powdered milk in a separate cup. Add the dry mixture to the butter and pour everything into the molds. Our chocolate bars have been left in a cool room for a few hours to harden, and now we can start the unmolding. The black chocolate bar is slightly bent, but still, look at those perfect glossy cubes. Another important test is to ensure that the chocolate is brittle. It should make a distinctive sound when broken. It's natural, homemade and really delicious. The milk chocolate also proved to be perfect. There were some grits of powdered milk. Apparently, we mixed it poorly, but as for me, it didn't affect the flavor. The white chocolate turned out the most brittle. Listen to this click. It sounds like breaking a ceramic tile. But the most interesting thing is yet to come. Okay, let's start with the little bear. It looks really cool, just like a store-bought one. The next comes this nice little piggy. Let's take the emojis out of the mold. Some of them contain small air bubbles, but they are hardly noticeable. And of course, it doesn't change their flavor. Finally, we wanted to surprise you with a giant Lego man. Looks cool, doesn't it? You can't buy chocolate Legos at the store, that's for sure. We managed to make all this beauty at home, going through the whole process. I think we deserve to unlock the confectioner's achievement. Tell us in the comments what kind of sweets you usually make at home.